Hello guys and welcome to today's video. I may have two updates today, but that depends on what happens with this area of interest that we now have in the Atlantic. As you guys know, we are 6 years strong of having named storms in the preseason. So this is becoming like part of the normal here. If this does, if this area of interest does become a subtropical storm, and if it becomes a subtropical storm, that name will be Anna. And here's another fun fact: um, the May streak, started with Anna, and it very well may just continue with Anna. Keyword being May, because the chances are increasing for the development, but there's some factors that we need to go over to see if that formation is going to take place. So as you can see here, we're on the National Hurricane Center page, and here is our disturbance. This is a non-tropical low-pressure system that is forecast to develop a few hundred miles northeast of Bermuda by tomorrow afternoon and produce gale-force winds. The low is then forecast to move west-southwestward over warmer waters on Friday and could become a short-lived subtropical cyclone over the weekend to the northeast of Bermuda. The system is expected to move towards the north and northeast into a more hostile environment by Monday. For more information on this system, please see high seas forecast issued by the Ocean Prediction Center. So formation chances for this as of right now is 10% for the 2 day mark and 40% for the 5 day mark. So we've had our first lemon, and we've had our first orange of the season. So could tonight or tomorrow morning, could we finally see our first cherry of the season? We're gonna have to wait and find out for that. Okay, so here is the GFS model, and I'm gonna show the two main models here. I'm gonna show the GFS and then the European, because both GFS and European are agreeing on this system forming some type of subtropical characteristics. So let's move forward. There's 18 hours, 24 hours, and as you can see, it's starting to come together here. The wind shear is probably really high though at this point. We're going to be taking a look at that here in a little bit. All right, so as you can see, the low is starting to rotate around, and then it finally gets some subtropical characteristics here at the 60 hour mark. We'll see what the wind shear is here. 22 knots. Yeah, it's borderline. It's borderline. But we'll take a look at that here shortly. 1001, 1003, 1002. This is 90 hours out, so this looks like it's its own thing now. There's 1,000 millibars, 998 millibars, so the GFS continues to strengthen this going forward. 997, 996. 996 seems to be the peak, but it seems to be squished. Something is squishing it, as you can see. And then we're just going to go stop here at hour 120 because this is 5 days out. And as you can see, this has a 997 millibar system here. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with that as we go out through time. All right, speaking of wind shear here, this is initialized at 0C. Yeah, hold on. Let me refresh that. I think that's correct. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna use this. All right. So here we are initialized here at the 0 hour mark, and as you can see, there's plenty of wind shear in the area right now. So we're gonna go 24 hours out, and as you can see, this is our thing that's gonna be rotating this way and probably heading into the lower shear count. Yeah, that's going to be our system. And as you can see, there's pockets of no shear, but there's also pockets of very high shear to the west of it. It just depends on where this low wants to travel, whether it wants to travel to the lighter side of the shear, which it looks like it may, or whether it travels to the higher side of shear, which that can also be a possibility as well. So let's go out to 72 hours. And as you can see, the wind shear is pretty light now. Might be light enough for this thing to thrive. Nine knots. So that's pretty good for this tropical subtropical system to carry on. 96 hours, we're at 1,000 millibars. We got some oranges and yellows. That's indicative of some moderate shear, but we're going to look at this value anyways. So, excuse me. 19 knots is on the borderline of being favorable or not favorable. And here's 120 hours, which is 5 days out, and it's at 997. It looks like it's on the western side of that high shear, but we're going to take a look at the values here like this anyways. 24 knots, so it's on the cusp. It's on the cusp. All right, so here's the relative humidity for, you know, the system going forward. What you're looking at here is the dark browns being the dry air and the dark greens being the more moist air. So we're gonna have to see what really happens with these and how they both mix together with the system. So we're gonna go 24 hours out, and as you can see, here's our low pressure right here. So it's pretty much in the dry sector here. And then as you can see, we got some moist air trying to wrap around this. So we're gonna see how it folds out. 78 hours, and now, as you can see, there's a low pretty much cut off of that, as you can see here, but that's of no consequence. This may be a consequence to Bermuda with some increment weather, but that's a discussion for another time and when we get closer to the event. As you can see here, the low pressure is now in a pretty nice moisture field here. But let's see what goes on in 72 hours. You can see some dry air that's starting to mix in here, but I think it's still dominated by enough moist air that it doesn't matter at the moment. 96 hours still has a pretty nice moisture feel to it. So 120, it gets, as you can see, it kind of gets squished a little bit. I don't know what's really doing that, squishing it to such a tiny proportion. But with that being said, it's still in a pretty nice moisture area. There is some dry air to the south, but it mainly seems to be in the moist air sector of this map. Okay, well, let's take a look at the ECMWF, which is the European model. And as you can see, this is initiated as of 12Z, not that long ago, probably like an hour and a half ago, this came out. So there's 24 hours, and as you can see, this shows pretty much the same thing as the GFS does. There's some something trying to rotate over here, and you got the low pressure here with the 10-12 millibars. And since this doesn't go into 6-hour time frames, we're not going to know exactly what happens in between those time frames. So here's 48 hours, and it has a 1,004 millibar. That to me is a subtropical depression, no matter how you swing it. A weak one, but a subtropical something. Well, the European has something subtropical forming out of this. All right, so here's 72 hours, 1,008 millibars, still 1,008 millibars at 96 hours, and then it's completely gone by an hour and 20. So the European and the GFS are definitely on board with this. So I don't see any reason why the chances shouldn't be going farther up when we get the more tropical weather updates, like at 8 p.m. and 2 p.m. I do predict the chances of this formation go up again at 8 p.m. as well. So that is my opinion on it. So with that being said, let's take one look at here at the NOAA NESDAS sea surface temperatures. And as you can see here, we're gonna zoom in a little bit. Here's the you can definitely tell the Gulf Stream here. We got 26s, 27s, 25s, and then you go to where the system is, and you got 21s, 22s, and 23s. From what I heard, 23 degrees Celsius is enough to sustain convection on a subtropical system. So we're gonna have to see what happens here as we go out through time. But I do predict that this storm would go into the Gulf Stream at least twice in its life. Once going southwest, and then another going southeast. So it's definitely got some room for some warmer waters than it's in right now. So um, I'm gonna give this a 50% chance of development right now with all the current model trends going on, um, and that's it. Anyways, this is my update for the area of interest in the Atlantic. Like I said, I may have another video tonight, depending on how the next two pans out, and the 18Z runs. Since the Euro doesn't run at 18Z, I might take a look at the Icon and the CMC and the GFS for the next update. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and have a nice day.